Yo, socialization is a term a lot of dog people have heard and a lot of dog people don't really know what it means. The most common idea is putting your dog around other dogs, and that is definitely part of it. But there's way more to it, so let's do it. Using my 43 years of professional dog training experience, I'm helping you better educate yourself so you can make better choices when training and raising your pet dog. This is Dog French Kisses. Welcome to Dog French Kisses. This video is about socialization, which is a very important thing for dogs and a very important thing for dog owners to understand. Most dog people are familiar with the term, but I know there's a lot of ideas out there that are not totally accurate. So I want to give you a solid understanding of what socialization is, what's not really socialization, and what you need to do to raise a happy, well-behaved dog. Most people think socialization is putting your dog around other dogs. Or maybe they understand that you need to do the same thing with people and maybe other animals as well. But it's not that simple. First off, the definition of socialization from Google, not for dogs, just in general, is the activity of mixing socially with others, or the process of learning to behave in a way that is acceptable to society. And there's more, but these are the two definitions that apply here. And the second one is the definition I like the best: learning to behave in a way that's acceptable. But when it comes to dog socialization, I'm going to change it slightly. Not in outcome, but in approach, I guess I'd say. Underlying cause. Because we don't just want dogs that behave in acceptable ways. We want dogs that feel comfortable, happy, confident, and have some understanding of how things work and what they can expect from the world around them. And then on top of that, good socialization will not only teach a dog what to expect, but it enables them to adapt better to new experiences as well. So the goal is to get them comfortable with people, animals, objects, environments, and situations that they'll experience in their life. In a nutshell, we want to introduce as many elements of life as possible and facilitate positive experiences with those elements. In this case, I mean positive as in good. They have a good time. They enjoy it. All the sights, sounds, smells, feels, situations, and interactions that they might encounter in their lifetime. Obviously, we can't cover every single thing, but we can do a lot. Don't overthink it, but don't do the opposite either. So let's frame this out a bit to start. If you hate cats and will never own one, then maybe your dog doesn't need to be the best with cats. But they're super common in our society, and dogs like to chase them, and dogs might fuck up a cat, so maybe you want some cat experience for your dog. Maybe not. Maybe you're not a horse person, but you have a way to experience horses easily enough, and you get your dog around some with a safe and positive situation happening, just so your dog has more experience. On the flip side, dogs need to be good with people. Dogs need to be good with other dogs, for the most part. Dogs need to get out in your neighborhood, experience different vehicles, trash cans, sprinklers, vacuums, plastic bags. Do you want your dog with you at restaurants, farmers markets, various public and private events, parties at your house, other people's houses, the beach, hiking, etc., etc., etc.? Well, then they need to experience these things and be cool and feel good about them before you're just bringing them along and the dog isn't the main focus. Don't just take dogs out to situations that are brand new, totally not similar to anything they've ever experienced, and expect them to be well-behaved and or not stressed out. I've seen a million dogs around cities that aren't bothering anybody, but they look like someone's holding their family ransom. Then you get home and the dog crashes out hard and you think it just had a fun, stimulating day. No, it had a stressful, overstimulating day. And then those experiences build on each other. You want the opposite. You want your dog to experience as much as it can early in life, safely and happily, so that you can make them a confident, well-behaved dog in as many situations and around as many other beings as possible. And then those experiences build on each other, and most of the time, things are all good. Or when we happen to end up in a situation that maybe isn't the best, your dog can get through that with minimal negative impact because it has prior experience with various things and it has some resilience. As far as what you can do specifically, I strongly recommend you look into puppy socialization guides online. There's a ton of checklists for the who's, what's, and where's, schedules you can follow for your dog's age, what to avoid. I don't remember seeing a bad socialization guide, which is rare for dog training information. Maybe look up a bunch, create your own based on what you think looks good and seems applicable to your life. If you don't get any farther than this video, then do this. Think of all the people and animals that your dog will likely encounter. Obviously, get them around the specific ones in your life, the people and animals that you know, but also different types. Think of big, small, skinny, fat, young, old, different breeds, different skin colors, hair colors, facial hair, lots of types of clothes, hats, uniforms, etc., etc. Then think of all the places that you might take them. Then think of all the situations that they might end up in. Expose them to as many of these things as you can in as controlled a way as you can. Ideally, it's a happy, positive experience, and then you quit while you're ahead. They've seen, they've smelled, they've heard, they've felt, and then you casually bounce out of there. And it's no big deal, just another interaction. It can be really short, keep that in mind. And make sure to include handling as well. Dogs need to be touched all over so they're prepared for things like nail trims, baths, vet visits, putting on collars, harnesses, clothes, getting dried off, coming in from the rain, all that shit. I strongly suggest you have treats with you all the time so that you're pairing these experiences with something that's naturally positive for the dog. And by treats, I just mean food. It could be dog treats, could be the food they eat with meals, people food, whatever. You decide. Next, I want to go over the stages of puppy development and socialization periods. Socialization is mostly done in the first year of the dog's life, maybe just over a year sometimes. This is certainly where the absolutely key periods are, with the first 3 months being the most important. After the first 14-ish months of a dog's life, it's not really socialization anymore. You can build on it and maintain it, and you can definitely train a dog at any point, but the foundation has already been laid, and hopefully it's a good one. So let's go through the early life of a dog. The first month of a dog's life, they're chilling in the nest next to mom. They can't see or hear for a few weeks. And then those senses start to develop and their baby teeth start coming in. They need to stay in the nest with their mother for the first month-ish of their life. The second month is when they start to venture out of the nest. They start learning how to be a dog on planet Earth from their mom and their litter mates. This is when they'll start going to the bathroom outside of the nest. They'll start to wean off milk and eat solid food, and they'll start forming relationships with other animals and places. This time period is crucial for a dog's psychological development. Things can go well or not so much, and it'll affect their entire life. Month 3-ish is when they can move to a new environment if that's in the cards for them. The common age for as long as I can remember is 8 weeks when you could pick up your puppy from a breeder. However, I've read newer science that suggests maybe we should wait a little longer, and that happens sometimes anyway. So this can be a really sensitive time for your developing puppy, and you need to be on top of how they're interacting with the world, making sure they have positive experiences, especially with humans and other dogs. This is the first fear impact period, where a bad experience can mean lifelong issues. I'm going to talk about fear periods more later, but this is the first one here. The best way to think about puppies during this time is impressionable. So your job is to give them the right impressions and not the wrong ones. Month 4-ish is when they should have all their senses fully developed, their adult teeth are coming in, and they start to surprise us in good and bad ways. Now, maybe you're not surprised, but what I mean is they're going to be way better in some ways, and they're going to be way fucking worse in some ways. And maybe they're not any better. Maybe they're just little terrors all the time. This is when you build on training that you've done, you work to be consistent, and you hang on for the ride and be as patient and as positive as you can. 5 to 8 months-ish, more physical growth, their natural instinct to explore the world can make things challenging for you. They might seem to forget things that you've trained pretty well in the past, or they just don't care anymore. But pretty much more of the same as far as what you need to do. Again, build on your training, be consistent, try not to get frustrated. The increase in their size during this period can sometimes be a lot if you have not established good behaviors thus far. Those same difficult behaviors are a lot harder to handle when the dog gets bigger. Now the timeline jumps around a bit at this point. I've said ish a lot because nothing is going to be exact. So sometime around 6 months up to 14 months, they may have a second fear impact period. This is a period where you do not force anything. It's really important that we work on building their confidence in general, always, but crucial during these periods. And again, I'll come back to this. One big thing I want to stress here, and a lot of you are aware of this from raising puppies or raising children, is enjoy this time. Enjoy while they're puppies. Despite the stress they bring and the work that you have to put in, they are small and cute and silly and fun, and we should really cherish this time while we have it, you know? Dogs will reach maturity somewhere around a year up to 2 years, depends on the breed, but typically between 1 and 2 years generally. And I've read it can take even much longer sometimes. And so now you have an adult dog. People call them puppies for a long time. I've heard people say all dogs are puppies, regardless of age. I don't really like that. I think it's misleading. I think proper development is important. Socialization is important. Puppies are young dogs that need young dog care, but not a huge deal. Say whatever you want. So I mentioned there's 2 fear impact periods. Sometimes they're called fear imprint periods. During these times, if they have a bad experience, that could stay with them and possibly be a fear for life and affect other things. Now, don't start tripping about it. Hear me out first. If you want to look into fear periods and learn more, go for it. But I suggest you don't worry about it. I don't mean literally forget it because it's not a problem. But in my experience, clients would learn about these and absolutely lose their minds trying to make sure that their dog doesn't ever have a bad experience. People get super stressed out and they either waste their energy and the dog ends up totally fine, or they way overdo it and it ends up backfiring somehow. I suggest you don't worry about it because you're doing the same things their whole puppyhood and really their whole life. Work to make their experiences and their interactions happy, positive, maybe short and sweet if you need to. Stay away from sketchy situations, sketchy people, sketchy dogs. Follow your instincts. Always be prepared to protect your dog mentally and physically. While you definitely need them to experience the world, you also need them to build confidence and resilience. And we do that gradually, not by simply surviving bad experiences. So what can you do to get more proper exposure for your dog? Professionally organized classes and events can be great. Daycare and boarding places can be great. And I emphasize the can here because they can also be just as bad as any bad interaction out randomly on a walk or something, sometimes much worse. But it's certainly more likely that professionals of some kind are going to put together something good. It's up to you to research and ask questions. Daycares and dog walkers talk a lot about giving your dog socialization, and your dog might get that under their care, but your adult dog isn't really. It's mostly done developing, and your puppy requires the right environment, the right care, the right experiences for it to actually be socialization. And a lot of these environments can quickly turn into something overwhelming and exactly the opposite of what you want for your developing puppy. I don't want to scare you, but you need this understanding. Please research a lot, ask all the questions you want, and don't just settle. One big reason that professionals with dedicated locations are good, in addition to potential behavior knowledge, is because they can keep the areas clean and sanitized and keep track of all the dogs that will be there and their vaccination records. One round of puppy shots is typically what's required to go into puppy classes or socialization events. When you go out in public somewhere random, you have no control over who and what's been there and what they got going on health-wise. And this brings me to an absolutely massive debate that you need to consider for your puppy socialization. I think people are a little more aware these days about early behavioral development, but in mine and many others' opinion, socialization is more important than vaccination. A lot of vets are going to argue against it. It's a controversial topic, but I think it's pretty simple. I've heard socialization described as a behavioral vaccine, and I fucking love that. Because I've heard a lot of people keep their dogs at home or away from other dogs for like 6 months. That sounds absolutely nuts to me. Your dog's definitely going to be a weirdo. And if that's what happened to you, I'm sorry to say it. I don't want to put anyone down, but I'm here to get better info out into the world. Think about it like this. The number one cause of death for dogs under age 3 is behavior issues. It's not infectious disease. And they're still going to have some immunity from their mom as well. You got to get them out in the world and be safe about it. And if you don't have access to puppy classes or puppy socials, or you don't want to go to those, and or you do have access to well-behaved, healthy adult dogs, get your puppy around them. And the same thing with other puppies if you know people that you trust. Set up play dates and monitor them the entire time. Let them interact and play. Make sure nobody gets overwhelmed. Make sure they respect each other's natural communication and quit while you're ahead. So the title of the video is Socialization is Hard and Super Necessary. By now, you should understand the super necessary part, and hopefully you're understanding why it can be so difficult. But I want to make sure that you also have some motivation. Like I said with the fear periods, there's no point in stressing out trying to raise the perfect dog. People have raised great dogs without any information on how to do that. I definitely did a decent job long before I knew any of this, and I'm sure a lot of you have too. So what I suggest everyone do is take in all the information you can find and are motivated to learn, and then do your best. Find professionals to help you if you want, but don't worry about it too much. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Check out my other videos and stay up.